thank Danny for that wonderful introduction. I want to thank the A.G.A.P.E family, the executive board, Pastor Dave. I'm extremely excited for this opportunity to speak to you guys. It's something, like he said, I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I'm just grateful that I have this opportunity. I'm going to try my best to finish semi-short. I'm going to try to get through it as quick as I can. I hope that what I'm able to share with you impacts your life positively, and I hope that you can use it to move into that next step in your life. So, if I'm going to just give a little background information about myself, I told you I'm Caleb. I graduated from Mercer in May 2016. I'm a business owner for FiNaO Enterprises, LLC. FiNaO is an acronym. FiNaO stands for failure is not an option. Eliminate excuses, prioritize execution. FiNaO started off as a group, a clique, if you will, when we was in high school. Me and some of my best friends, we still good friends today. And the whole idea was prioritizing athletic achievement. So we could be the best out there on the field. That was our thing, whether it was whatever sport we was playing, football, track. And I remember we used to throw the 4-4, you know, if we scored a touchdown, yeah, bro, FiNaO. The 4-4, for anybody that has any knowledge of sports, when you look at physical assessments of athletes, the 40-yard dash is one of those very important tests to see like where you are on that level of just that guy or if you just face it. And if you can run a 40-yard dash in 4.4 seconds, you're considered excellent. You know, that's like really the top tier. You know, I'd have cranked out a couple 4.2s in my day, but you know, anybody want to race? Hey, it's whatever. But the thing was, the idea was that when we put up the 4-4, we always tried our best. That was our way of saying we were striving for excellence, you know? You get it? So I took the FiNaO lifestyle on to college with me. Had a pretty good athletic career, pretty good academic career. And the whole plan when I got here was to major in psychology, go to physical therapy school, get a doctorate of physical therapy, and be Alabama's physical therapist on staff. The Falcons physical therapist on staff. That was the plan. Many of you know I paint now. And art was actually just a minor for me. Like, it just never crossed my mind that art would ever really become what I do for a living. So I just minored because I was good at it. I always been able to draw, so that was it. I only took one painting class. E isn't here, my art teacher. He's not here to tell you, but I was terrible in the painting class. I hated it. I was a punk. Like, I used to whine all the time. It ain't working, bro. What you said ain't working. If he was here, he would tell you I was a punk. I was so bad at it. Who's phone going on?
That's mine. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Is it here? Yeah. Might be Minnesota. But yeah, so it wasn't until the last assignment of the year that I actually did some work that was halfway decent. I recreated Michelangelo's creation of man. That was the first time I really took pride in a painting I had done. It still wasn't all that. It was whatever. So going into my senior year, I was still on the track to do physical therapy. That was my plan. And here's why I really think God started kind of intervening, because y'all know when you're on social media, you can be scrolling and come across something and you're like, oh, that's cool. Well, I was on Twitter one time, and I scrolled by this painter. This is right around the time Dirty Sprite 2 came out. Y'all know what Dirty Sprite 2 is?
No, never heard of it.
Dirty Sprite 2 is?
No.
That's Future's album. It came out in 2015. So there's an artist, his name is David Jared Barton. He's at Future's album release party, doing a painting, doing all that. He flips the painting over, and it's Future. And that was the first time I was like, oh my God, there's a painter hanging out with Future at a release party. Never seen nothing like that. You know, all I thought was 60-year-old men painting in some old studio, and when they die, they finally become famous. That was really my view of art, and that was the first time I was like, you know, I'm gonna try something new. So a couple weeks later, at the MPAC talent show, I tried my hand at performance painting. I did a painting of Future, and it turned out pretty good. And I think that's another, it was so many, along this journey, there was so many steps that if it hadn't happened the way it did, I don't know where I'd be. I executed that day, and I had so many good reviews. People were saying nice things. Everybody was saying, it really was encouraging. And I was like, dang, maybe I can do this painting thing. And then that was the first time I sold a couple paintings. So that gave me the momentum going into the Christmas break of 2015, I think it was. That was the turning point of my life, right there. When I went on the break, my plan was to finish up my volunteer hours for physical therapy. I had an internship, and I was going to paint. Then my two things I was going to do. Football had just ended. I had no more football. So I ain't have to go home and go run for days. I didn't have to do that this time. So I could eat, get fat, go to physical therapy, and paint. And that was when my painting began to shift, because I would wake up in the morning, 7 a.m. to get to the physical therapy clinic, and I'm in the clinic. I'm just like, I'm ready to go home. I was so bored. Like, I never in my life realized it could be so boring. That's just for me. Some people, physical therapy might be a thing, but for me, I just realized I didn't have much fun with it. That's honestly a side note. If you don't know what you want to do with your life, I would advise you to go try some things out. Because what you think you want to do, you might change it. As you can see, I did. The thing is, so during all that time, I'll be painting at night, sometimes till 5 a.m. I get tired. If y'all remember, a lot of y'all remember that time, I was putting out paintings 1 or 2 a day. I didn't get tired. Like, it was straight. I was having a good time. And around this time, I'm so grateful because I had some people who really supported me through that time. Like, it was some people I could text at 5 a.m. and send them a picture of, hey, look what I just did. And they would take us, hey, that's awesome. Keep doing it. You inspire me. So I was like, shoot. That was when I started having a conversation with myself. I was like, maybe I need to go ahead and go into that because, we think about it, and everybody say, go ahead, chase your dream, do what you want to. But a lot of people will stop because they say, hold on. You got to secure a secure financial footing as a physical therapist. If you're going to freelancing, I don't know if you can support a family off that. My family never discouraged it, but it was definitely a conversation I had with myself. I was like, hey man, if I go in this painting thing, I don't know. So I said, at least I'll do some research. So I did some research, and I started realizing some things that some artists do and some don't. Most artists, when they get into it, they don't try to make money. They go through that old mantra of when I die, hopefully my work will get in the gallery, and my family can be rich maybe after I die. I didn't want that, so I started doing some more research, and I feel like this is God coming in again. I was scrolled by a guy named John Moody. John Moody was a couple years older than me. We had very similar styles. I'm looking at him. He's posing with Future, Lil Wayne, Trey Songz. I'm like, this dude's cool. I want to be like him. I want to be with famous people. And so one of the now this is definitely one of the funny ones. I went to one of his posts. It was around Christmas time, like I said, and it said, "Happy Holidays from John Moody. We're happy to say that we fulfilled over 100 orders for the Christmas season." So I was like, dang, that's a lot of payments. So I went to his website and I looked up how much his payments were. For his smallest piece was $400, and his page showed that he had different sizes, going all the way up to $3,000. So I went home, I sat down, I was like, 100 paintings, $400, that's $400,000. Now, of course, I did my math. I found it was really $40,000. It was $40,000. I had a slow moment. And so, but still, think about it. I still did the math, and we're looking at 3 weeks worth of work. He gained $40,000. At that point, God Himself had eliminated any excuse for me not going to paint. I was like, shoot, if he can make $40,000 in 3 months, I can make a living on $40,000 starting out. So I'm like, shoot, if I can do that in a year, I should be okay. So going into the next school year, I still had a semester. All I had to do was finish up my science classes. I took my interview at Mercer, like I told Danny. I've been on the interview at the same time I started having doubts because I was like, dang, I'm not comfortable, bro. I don't know if I can do this because I'm not having fun. Like my whole life, I've been wanting to be a person who can enjoy what he do. I didn't want to just get a 9 to 5 and be bored. So around this time, I started just painting. I said, I'm gonna try it anyways. I started selling paintings early in the year. Started just doing random paintings and see if I get celebrities to like them. So I did a painting of Migos, and I sent it to the entire company. Y'all know who Real Money is? No, you don't. But I found out. I sent it to everybody in the company. By the grace of God, once again, Offset happened to see the painting and said, I want this. Yeah, I want this. I remember I was in a physics lab. So you can ask Sebastian. Y'all know Sebastian asked that fool. I was like, hey, Sebastian! Bro, Offset just hit me up, bro. He's like, and I showed him. Offset really hit me up. And I hit him up, and Offset texted me while I'm in physics lab. Now, physics is hard. Physics is so hard. And here I am in physics lab ain't paying no kind of attention. I'm like, bro, this is one of my favorite music artists, and they out here talking about he wants his painting. So I was able to network with them, and some of y'all know I was able to do a few paintings for that group. I went to the studio, had a good time there. And so around this time, it was when I really started thinking, hey, shoot, I'm doing good. It's only been like a month. So I'm like, surely I'll be straight. And I remember going to church. I wish he was here. And Pastor Johnson over at Kingdom Life, he was in church and saying, a lot of times we become Christian, and we know God's calling in our life, but we sit there and we keep pump faking. he don't know this, but that when he said in that service had such a profound effect on where my life went after that. Because he's like, what y'all have to do is y'all have to take a shot. So I was like, shoot, I've been pump faking. I'm still telling me I want to go to physical therapy school. I had a letter in. I could have went. But I was like, you know what, I'm not a pump faking. You don't know what that is? I went to my senior do this. I dropped my anatomy class. I withdrew. See, hey, take me, yeah. Look, it was the first 3 weeks of class, and I'm talking about even in there, I'm like, I don't like this. She's my witness. I sat there and I dropped the class. And again, I had such a support system behind me. They said, A.K., if you're going to do it, hey, do it, man. I was like, shoot. So I dropped the class. And that's where I'm at now. I started my business, and I tried to find all these principles that really help life. And I've been called to ministry on several occasions in my life by different pastors. So I think it's very important to try my best to be successful, to provide a platform. Tim Tebow used to play football for the Florida Gators. He's one of the best college football players of all time. He used to say that when he does well on the football field, when he scores a touchdown, it gives him a higher platform. People hold him in a higher esteem so that he can then deflect the attention towards God. So the better painter I can be, the higher up I get, I can say, you know, it's only because of God that I'm here. And because of God, you can do the same thing. So a little update now. I mean, I've had a chance to meet Eric Thomas, the motivational speaker, another idol. I've had a chance to meet David Garibaldi, the artist who actually inevitably got me back into painting. And a couple weeks ago, I met the greatest artist of them all, Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
And as I get into the body, I guess the body, that was my history. Now we get into the body of the message. It's called I'm in Control. So here's what I'm gonna do. When I say who's in control, I want everyone to say I'm in control. This is so if I get bored, y'all kind of wake back up and get back with me. And whenever you use physical stuff and you speak at the same time, it helps retain that information. So if I say who's in control, I'm in control. Who's in control?
I'm in control.
Who's in control?
I'm in control.
Who's in control?
I'm in control.
So look, this journey for me is what, about 6 months, really the summer is the first time I've ever been able to really get into something. And I really identified 3 areas in which I think hinder us from walking in God's purpose and doing what we want to do in life. The very first thing I like to call the victim mentality. So you know these people, and I mean I'm guilty of it sometimes too. The people who live in the victim mentality, they feel like life just happens to them. In psychology, we call it external locus of control. They feel like they don't have any control of what happens. Life just happens to them, and they just a victim of, oh God, this. I don't know what to do. It's all the time. It's all the time. These people are so prevalent. It's really like you look at anybody's Snapchat any other day. If a person got a victim mentality, you see it real quick because it's all they talk about. They complain a lot. These type of people complain. And the law of attraction, it states basically that whatever you give attention to grows. So if all you're doing is complaining, all you're going to get is the bad stuff. And then that's when you're going to miss out on all the universe has to offer and all the blessings God's given you because you're so worried about complaining. And I think one of the worst things about somebody who lives in the victim mentality is blaming. They blame people for their shortcomings. You got to take responsibility for your life, honestly. You just have to take responsibility. So, for instance, like, man, I ain't never make a grade in class. Teacher crazy. That's terrible. Don't be a victim. Or for my athletes, man, the only reason I ain't playing, the coach tripped. I mean, I've been there. Like, I just couldn't bring myself to say that, hey, man, that's why I ain't playing anymore. Because I had a great career, and it kind of shifted on me. And I could have said, man, this ain't fair, man. I should be playing what I did. I was captain last year. Man, I almost be that guy. But I didn't. I didn't play a blame game. I just worked harder because that's just how I do it. When you begin to take control of the situation and just simply believe that you have control over it, don't be a victim. You have to be clear you won't be a victim. Who's in control?
I'm in control. I'm in control.
So the second thing is, I think it's a lack of knowledge that stops us a lot of times. A lack of knowledge will stop us from going on purpose. So when I began the whole journey, I knew I was going to have some kind of financial literacy. Like I figured I was going to learn some about business. So of course, the number 1 book, if you ever want to be an entrepreneur, anything involving money, is Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's what they want to do. So I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I ain't gonna lie, the first time I read it, I didn't get a lot of the money mumbo jumbo. This is my first book, so I ain't really get a lot of that. But one thing I did get from that book was that the attainment of knowledge is paramount to anything else you'll learn, or like just anything else you'll do on this journey. You have to be knowledgeable in the right things. So E.T. said that Warren Buffett reads the first 6 hours read 6 hours a day, but I try to read 20 pages a day at the very least. Because what reading does is it bridges the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. Even for football players. I know it might seem not the same, but if you get on the internet and read up and find out stuff, you begin to bridge gaps that maybe your physical body can't handle. I wasn't as strong as I'm fast, but I was very smart. So I was able to have an advantage on the football field because I was intelligent. And I think the same is true for anything you desire to do. I think you need to read. We're all Christians. We need to focus on our spiritual growth. What's the most important book we need to read? Exactly. We got to get in the Bible because, again, that's our roadmap to success, essentially. That's it. When you begin to get that knowledge, it begins to enhance your feeling of control over your life. When you do that, that's in control. Who's in control?
I'm in control.
Who's in control?
I'm in control.
So number 3, and it ties very closely into the victim mentality. And it's one of my least favorite, honestly. Is we have poor perception of our reality. In layman's terms, we make mountains out of molehills all the time. Danny, so I had an epiphany, and Danny can tell you, turn the mic on. Danny can tell you, what was, remember we came back home from church that one time, what did I say?
You were saying how a lot of times we get saved and everyone around us talks about the trials that come with being a Christian.
So what I was saying is that a lot of times we get saved, and the first thing that our pastors and people around us say is, oh, now the real work starts. It's going to take you. They're going to be after every second because you're a Christian now. I've never enjoyed that line of thinking. I just think it's so destructive because luckily I've had a chance to play sports. And in any sport, any team I've ever been involved with, we've always focused on what we got to do to be successful and not on the opposition. And people can grasp that in sports, but for whatever reason in life, we like, oh Lord, it's gonna be a tough day. The devil gonna be testing me today. But for whatever reason, we can't seem to grasp. Like Coach Barfield, my running back coach. Anytime, it didn't matter who we played, he said we gotta do what we gotta do to be successful. Whether we playing Georgia Tech or we playing Little One, my football players get the distinction between the two. It was really so. A lot of people give me grief because I'm a huge Alabama fan. They say, oh man, you commercial Alabama. I mean, my infatuation with Alabama goes way beyond fandom. I watch them because of the way that they execute, the way they handle their program is just admirable. Like every time I watch a game, it's just like they really embody what they teach. And Coach Saban constantly talks about the process. And what he means is, no matter who we coming out against, like this week we got LSU and Baton Rouge. All the analysts talking about, oh, I don't know about this one. It's a new and improved LSU team. I don't know about Alabama. And I guarantee you, the team meeting today, Coach Saban said, hey, it's all about us. What are we going to do to be successful? Coach Lamb told the same thing. What steps are we going to take to make us better prepared for this game? That's what I try to focus on. That's what y'all need to focus on. Because think of it, here's another example. If you were to rate your character and your mental toughness from a 1 to a 10, you're a level 1 person to a level 10 person. Level 1 person, life happens. Level 10, you're mentally tough, you're ready for anything life throws at you. Depending on where you are, will depend on a lot of your outcomes and how you handle situations. So for a level 4 person, when a level 7 issue comes along, let's say you got an exam coming, or your car breaks down. For them, it's the end of the world. Oh, Lord, I got to test something. I don't know what to do. It's biology. It's physics. It's accounting. What am I going to do? Man, my car done broke down. I don't know how to change no tire. It's really because you're a level 4 person and you haven't built up enough, I guess, mental fortitude, enough courage to handle the situation. So what you have to do on a daily basis is affirm that greatness on your life so that you handle those situations so that you can become a level 7, level 8, level 9, 10 person. So that whenever anything comes your way, you're like, I'm just studying. I know what I got to do. What am I worried about? I'm just studying. My car broke down. Dang, that sucks. What I got to do now? You call State Farm. Hey, Pops, broke down. Oh, you ain't going to pay me. It's all good. I'll just say, look, man, a couple pictures. Hopefully I need to tie it. Yeah, Pops, it's all 4 ties. So, I mean, you got to be able to, when you're able to enhance the level of character that you have, you become that upper level person, you begin to get that control I've been talking about. Who's in control?
I'm in control.
Who's in control?
I'm in control.
And if y'all don't believe me yet, I mean, the word says that you're in control. And I don't mean that you really control the universe, but I'm saying that God gives you that right to control how your life ends. Proverbs 16:3, I think it is. Commit whatever you do to the Lord, and your plan will succeed. Do you know it? Romans 8:28. For all things work together for the good
Good
of
Lord.
those who love God, who will call to his purpose. Jeremiah 29:11. Everybody knows that one.
If I know the plans.
For I know the what?
Are the
Plans
plans.
for what? Not to hurt you. For a future. See? Exactly. So I mean, that's the word. There's no reason for you not to see that you have control over it. It's really how you respond. At the most basic level, you reap what you sow. If you sow greatness into the atmosphere, that's what you'll get back. And that's as simple as it is. And as I'm closing, I just really hope that y'all get that. You have to be consistent every day. Be a little better. Talk to yourself. Tell yourself, hey, I'm not going to be a victim today. That's unfortunate. But I refuse to get on Snapchat and say, oh Lord, I'm going to handle this. I refuse to get on Snapchat, y'all, and say that because you told me I got this. You told me that you gave me 24 hours, I get my day, and I'm handling it. Lord, I ain't going to complain. You gave me a good life, and I ain't going to complain. It could be worse, Lord. It could have been me out there on the street. It's getting kind of cold. It could be out there. It could be me out there freezing. So, as I begin to close, I want everybody to stand over the building, please. Everybody stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. What I'm going to have y'all do is I'm going to have y'all lift y'all hands to the sky and close your eyes. We're going to pray together.